I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, so I need to go to this.
You're on speaker. That's good.
I am, but it
Gallery,
doesn't switch around. Is it gallery?
Yeah. Just you
Okay.
and Fred
Yeah, it's just you and I, so I guess we'll stick with gallery. I'm really sorry that nobody is here today because I love Fred's talks. I really do. And hopefully people will see it on
YouTube.
Yes. Anyway, welcome. We don't have any guests, and the only general announcements that we have is Reunion Sunday, which will be the first Sunday in November. And Mark Wolf will be our speaker, and we will have a special dessert to be yet to be decided.
Tres leches is always good.
Tres leches is always good. Anything in a sheet cake form is always good, but still have to work on this. We're going to have free book giveaway the 12th of October. Oh, there's Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Hi. On the 12th of October, we'll have free book giveaway, and hopefully we will have some people here. I did manage to get it in the newspaper, and Christine is sending out a constant contact for it. We also are going to be involved in the Festival of Trees that the city puts on every year. And so we will be doing something for that, which I will let you know later on what it's going to be. And other than that, all is well here at Fellowship. Fred has a prelude, and we'll listen to him.
Yeah, this is somebody brought this up. I believe this song is going to be part of the reunion Sunday. So I decided I'd practice it.
I bet it was me. I think it's one I liked.
And I don't know where this, I can't remember exactly who recorded this first. I think it might be the OJs, but it's called Stand By Me. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. If the sky will fall, tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Darling, stand by me. Oh, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Won't you stand there? Oh, girl, stand by me. Stand by me. Oh, 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 stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand right here by me. Won't you stand? Oh, stand by me.
Thank you, Fred.
Welcome. There you go.
You are too cute. Okay, and with this, we have Susan Barnes giving us our opening prayer from Belize. You're muted. You're muted.
Good morning. Well, sometimes it's nice to be muted. Only when you're saying all of these wonderful things. So let us close our eyes and take in with that one deep breath all that wonderful, creative, loving energy, and allow it to flow through every cell, every molecule of your body, energizing you, invigorating you, lighting your path. Creator, Mother, Father, God, we give thanks for this day and all the opportunities that you have brought to us. Not only to us, but to those who are the ones we love, the ones who are part of our fellowship, whether they are here in person or in spirit only. We ask for your health, for your healing. We ask for the ability to perceive differently, to see even in the worst of circumstances that which is kind, loving, and helpful, a learning experience for us, knowing that as this happens, as this occurs, that our bodies are filled with light, and we walk in that light, and we energize all those around us. We bring a smile to their lips. We give thanks for where we live, whether it be far or near, because we know that we are always together in our hearts. We give thanks for our good health, because we know that our health, that which we radiate outward, helps to bring healing to everyone else and demonstrates to others your love and your light that shines through us. We ask that you be with those who are feeling less than worthy or capable. Help them to see in us that light that helps to bring healing to them, that brings them to a closer walk with you. For all of these good things, we do give thanks. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Susan.
You hit the gallery.
No? Gallery? Back to gallery. Okay.
And then hit the minimize
Okay.
thing over there.
Well, it's going to put
The middle
everybody on.
box. To the right.
By the X, there's a box.
Yeah, by the X over to the right.
Farther.
Farther to the
Farther
right.
over?
Right there.
That box right
That
there.
box.
Okay.
Just click it left. Click. Oops. No, right where it was.
Left click on the box.
Here, I did it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Susan. And now we have a song from Fred. Mercy.
Oh, this is Mercy. It's off a film that I don't remember. So it was never really released on the radio. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that plays this song. Unless you're watching this song. Watch that movie. I can't remember who it's got. It's one of the movies from the 80s, late 80s. Just hit speaker.
Top one. Okay.
Oops, well, she's the speaker then. I just double click that one.
Sounds good.
And then mute everybody.
There you go. Well, of all righteousness, miracle, and hollow bitterness. Down this road, I walk with all witness, and mercy will follow me. I'm told my sister sang a song so sweet and sad about a man whose love I never had. Here there's a train bound for Gilead. Mercy will follow me, I'm told. Mercy, will you follow me? Mercy, will you follow me? Until the chickens swirl my bread. Mercy, will you follow me? Mercy, will you follow me? Until my last breath. Oh, yeah. Under the skin lies a heart of stone, going on so far from its home. I'm told one day I'll have a heart of gold. Mercy will follow me, I'm told. Mercy, will you follow me? Mercy, will you follow me? Till the king of this world, mercy, will you follow me? Mercy, will you follow me? Till my last breath, I will
Fred. I remember that song and I remember the movie, but I can't remember who was in it. Okay, if you would follow along with me and we'll do our reflective moment. Love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another as we create an atmosphere of holiness, and so it is. Thank you. And because it's the fifth Sunday, I get to do the spiritual reading. I love this little book, The Four Agreements. And if you haven't read it, you actually need to, because it's got some wonderful advice. It's a little book. It's got, very simple things. But the fourth agreement is always do your best. There is but one more agreement, but it's the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained habits. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best, no more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. as your best will sometimes be high quality, and other times it will not be quite as good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you are tired at night. Your best will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick, or sober as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you are feeling wonderful and happy or upset, angry, and jealous. In your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to another. Your best will always change over time. As you build the habit of the 4 new agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. Regardless of the quality, keep doing your best. No more and no less than your best. If you tried hard to do more than your best, you will spend more energy than is needed, and in the end, your best will not be good enough. When you overdo, you deplete your body and go against yourself. It will take you longer to accomplish your goal. But if you do less than your best, you subject yourself to frustration, self-judgment, guile, and regrets. Just do your best in any circumstance in your life. It doesn't matter if you're sick or tired. If you always do your best, there was no way you can judge yourself. And if you don't judge yourself, there is no way you're going to suffer from guilt, blame, and self-punishment. By always doing your best, you will break a big spell that you have been under. And I won't go any further. That's all you need to know. Just do your best at all times. Thank you. And we have another song, Let It Be.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And the broken hearted people living in this world agree that there will be an answer, let it be. For those that may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see that there will be an answer. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. When the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. As I wait to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. She says, boy, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yes, there will be an answer. You just let it be. 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 Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be.
Thank you, Fred. Words of wisdom. Always. And with that, we have Fred to give us a talk. The Empty Boat, Buddhism's teaching on anger.
Yeah, well, that's one of them. So,
Are you comfortable sitting there?
I guess I could go over
Okay.
there.
Would you like this?
I don't know if I need it. Do you guys think I need it?
Mhm.
I'm a loudmouth, so I don't think I really need it.
Okay.
The other time I get told to shut up. It's amazing. Oh. Let's see if we can get the light out of my face. There we go. Woo-hoo. So hi, everybody that's out there, Susan and Ron and everybody that's here. Good morning. It's beginning of fall. But it looks like summer don't want to let go around here. It's a little warm in the afternoons, but it's nice and chilly in the mornings. So it's getting there.
Perfect.
It's getting in there. Kind of like I've always, here at Fellowship Spirit, we've always been open to bringing all ideas and thoughts to the table. I've found specifically in the science of mind and the Course of Miracles are taoisly influenced by some of the Asian or Near East old religions like Buddhism and Taoism. Of course, so is modern psychology, starting with Jung and company. They were ardent readers and followers of a lot of the Theravada Buddhist practices and teachings, especially in the Pali Canon, which is probably the oldest compilations. Pali with a P-A-L-I, canon meaning a bunch of books, kind of like the Bible is a word for a compilation of many books, not one book. So I guess you'd say the Pali Canon is the same thing. There's several, if you go out there, there's several versions that have been translated into English since, I guess, say the early 1900s, maybe even 1800s, and some more modern translations now. But with those teachings, one of the things that comes down from the Buddhist tradition and part of the Noble Eightfold Paths, one of the first four things in the first path is your acceptance of this world as a place of suffering. And the third part of that is understanding why you suffer. And in that teaching about suffering, the Buddha had taught, Gautama and his followers have taught for ages, that there's three main poisons, or I guess you'd say emotions, that keep you separated from enlightenment and keep you locked in the cycle of suffering. And one of those three things, let's say the first three things, well, what they are is anger, attachment, right? And let's forget the third one for some reason here. Anger, attachment, and ignorance. Because that's the one that's hardest to remember, actually, is ignorance. Because if you don't know, you don't know, right? Now they say in law that doesn't matter, but in spirituality it does matter. Because if you don't know that there's another way than the way that you're currently on, and then you're not going to know any other way, because everybody speaks this thing here for years and years and years. These pulpits has been defined our beliefs and who stands behind them, and their particular brand, flavor, and style of whatever they promote. So it is important. So from this old canon, there's an old teaching called the empty boat. So I'll jump the empty boat. So I'll start with there. So basically the setup is there's a monk that he's been, he's not an initiate. He's been part of the fold for quite a long time. And as he goes to meditate these days, he's having a lot of problems connecting to the stillness and the oneness. So over the years, at first when he was in the temple, he was able to get to the sublime by, slowly closing his eyes, slowly reciting his mantra. But pretty soon, the sounds of all the other monks walking in and out, the flicker of the candles, the sounds of the doors closing in and out would jolt him. He's like, oh man. So then he decided, well, the other practice we like to do is in the forest. And so he would go and spend more time instead of in the mornings in the temple, he'd spend more time taking a walk. So he'd take a walk in the morning and go out into the forest, and in the afternoon go out into the forest, into the grove of trees. And pretty soon, though, over time, chirping of the birds and the ants and the bugs crawling all over his skin would bring him out of his blissful state of meditation. So he decides, well, what else can I do? Where else can I go? And so he starts thinking about it, and he says, well, I can't do it in the temple. I can't do the forest. He noticed on the walk out into the forest there was a lake, and he'd seen other monks and other people using the lake. And he thought to himself, well, maybe I could get a boat and go out on the lake. So one day he gets the gumption early in the morning, and he sees where they tie up the boats. He unties the boat and he rows out into the middle of the lake. Out there in the middle of the lake, he's sitting there, and he's got himself finally meditating, the stillness, the slight movement of the boat, slight movement of the wind. Boom, his mind opens up. He's in this blissful state, starting to reach that oneness that he hadn't reached in so many years. When all of a sudden, boom, he feels a boat hit his boat. So in his mind, he's just like, who in God's name could be out here in the middle of the lake, see a monk, and come and disturb him while he's meditating? So he slowly opens his eyes and looks out over the thing, and the boat is empty. No one was driving that boat. Somehow, some way, somebody had left the boat untied, and the wind and the current of the ocean, of the lake, had driven that boat right into the center of right where he was. And at that moment, he became self-enlightened and realized that anger and my frustration is not from the things that are outside of me, but from my anger is from within me. So from that moment on in his life, whenever he sat down to meditate in the morning and he'd hear the shuffle of people's feet, he'd drown that out. So that's not me, that's an empty boat. Whenever a young initiate was having problems and not doing his chores and was not learning the lessons, instead of that anger coming up within him, he'd say, no, they are just an empty boat. The anger is from within me. So I'm sure, like in our lives, and it happens to me, and I'm kind of like that. I mean, in my life, I don't know if there's a new song out here. I don't know if you guys know who Jelly Roll is.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the song God, I need a favor. Right? I mean, the main line is there's when I only pray when I don't got a prayer. So that's kind of me and my spirituality. Unfortunately, these days I'm not always practicing like I should, and when times get rough, that's when I start digging deeper, and that's where I got into this. And I've learned these and read these lessons before, but it's almost like everything else in life, change comes like seasons, and like in your saying, you know what I mean? You can only do the best, and your best changes, right? And all you can do is keep doing your best. So here I am digging in, and I just wanted to share this with you. But like I said, I'm sure you've noticed how we have the least tolerance for certain things and people in life. And the moment we have to face these episodes or people, most of us can simply fly off the handle. I mean, it's like, we call them triggers nowadays, right? Some of us don't react. Some of us gotten a little bit better about it. But we bottle up that anger. We put a little click, save it for later, stick it in the closet and let it smolder for a little while. And that breeds resentfulness, obviously, right? Which is another child basically, of anger.
Mhm.
While others may have figured out a way to rise above these challenges. But if not, if you're like me and we regret our responses later on, but deep inside, we still tend to believe, I got angry because they set me off, they did this, they did that, they triggered it, or if they wouldn't have done this or done that, said this or did that, we somehow try to find some sort of justification for our anger. And I suppose it's convenient, to think that way. And I think it's also an ego reaction to conflict. I mean, it's a natural reaction, a human reaction, I do believe, to fight fire with fire. But that is not what we seek here. That is the problem that we have in this world, is too much conflict, internal and external, driving us apart, Anyway, there's an old and Buddhist saying, and it comes also kind of from the Pali Canon, probably more in the 14th century, but holding on to anger, people say this was attributed to Buddha, but it's probably not Buddha that said this, but holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And that is something you really, really, especially when you dig into the therapeutic side and try to heal your relationships, that those close relationships with family and friends, that, this is something to really, really remember too. So holding on to anger is mostly hurtful to ourselves. It can sour our outlook on life, as well as current and future relationships and experiences. New jobs. Oh, I got triggered. You lose your job. Anger not only causes suffering in our personal life, but is also reflected in the war and conflicts between countries around this world. And we don't have to look far. Turn on any news outlet and you see what an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is costing us these days in a very important part of this world. The Buddha taught that anger, attachment, and ignorance are the three emotional poisons that cause us suffering and keep us from enlightenment and peace. Anger, attachment, and ignorance. So none of us, I think, can fall into the point of ignorance in this building or in this form. But we may still have anger and attachment issues. That's very human. And anyway, it is said that it takes many years for a tree to grow, and even then more years for a tree then to bear its fruit or its flowers. Yet it takes only a moment to cut that same tree down with an axe. And that's how this works. If mindfulness and peace is the tree of your life and its fruit, then anger is the axe that will cut it down and destroy it. This conflict causes a split, or like our man George used to say, a separation, an internal separation between your ego and your consciousness, and will separate you from your peace. It is poisonous because now we have shifted the responsibility of our feelings and behavior onto external events and other people. The truth is, we have a choice. You can choose whether to be angry or not. And that requires your mindfulness. And that requires getting in front of this. And that requires of getting a new thought about those situations and realizing that it's a what? Empty boat. There's nothing there. How can you, even with your relationships and things like that, or people, you don't know what those other people have gone through that are causing them to be mean and angry and hateful to you. Maybe sometimes you do know, but mostly if they're strangers, you don't know. Oh, disciple, Buddha used to say, a monk should never give way to anger, even though he is sawn limb from limb with a two-handed saw. Buddha recognized the power of this self-deception that anger is. And here's another teaching. This comes directly from the Mahadra, which is a really old tales about the Buddha and his followers. But we'll get to that first. In the Theravada Buddhist tradition, it's taught that the antidote to anger is loving kindness and compassion. It is called metta. That is the word, metta. Look it up, M-E-T-T-A, not M-E-T-A. And I know here we've practiced this before, and we've had other speakers to practice this before, even when we were larger. But this is something that comes directly from Buddhism. If you're angry with someone, you need to hold them in your heart with loving kindness. Put that image of them in there and give them a hug, no matter how hard it is. And exude a feeling of empathy and compassion. And if you're angry with yourself, this is something you'll learn in therapy. You need to give your little self a hug. You need to go back to when you were hurt, when you were a little kid. And I say, give that little kid, that angry little kid, a hug. Because you deserve it. In the teachings of Buddha, they remind us anger can never remove anger. Anger can only promote more anger. And it's almost like, if you heard anything I say, war promotes more war. There's no end to it. Because the truth is, people don't care why you're over there dropping bombs on them and you killed their mother, their brother, their sister, their neighbor. They don't care what uniform or flag you wave. They're going to hate you. This war and anger brings more war and anger. It's just the way it works. It is a fact of this universe. So, this is why it's a very important topic, particularly in a world that all too often acts from a position of anger without pondering its consequences or addressing the root causes so that it never happens again. Another teaching that illuminates this best practice when encountered with a difficult situation or person, and this is called, some people call it the angry man, some people call it the angry young man in Buddhist traditions, some call it the reviler. But this is a tale how Buddha says that anger is a choice, and this comes from the Pali Canon. Once, Gautama Buddha and his followers traveled to a village. They decided to set up camp outside of that village in a grove of trees. The village was quite large. Many were happy to see them and heard his teachings with attention and eagerness. One young man cast his Brahmin robes aside and began to follow Buddha. This Brahmin was from the village. Now, if you know anything about the India religion, the Brahmins are the top class. They are the elite. They are born into it. If you're born into it as a male, you're taught at a young age all the prayers and fasts and sacrifices and all this stuff. It is your job. You're the ultimate caste. And at many times in Indian history, the Brahmins had such an influence that kings bowed and followed their wisdom. So anyway, this Brahmin kid dropped his robes and decided to follow. And you can kind of think of Buddha and his people at the time as kind of the hippies. They didn't believe in caste anymore. They all had given up their positions in lives. They'd given up all their wealth if they had them. Gautama himself was a prince of a northern Indian province, and he gave up everything. So these were people that were basically big time hippies, right? So here's this hippie camp, right? So a man from the village got very angry and he started shouting in a rude manner while Buddha was teaching. The whole time Buddha just got a little bit louder and didn't pay any attention to this man and continued speaking without being bothered. That made the man even angrier. So he came and stood right in front of Buddha. And facing him, he began insulting him. You have no right to teach anything to others. You are as stupid as everyone else. Stop fooling everyone. Leave us alone and depart our land. You are a fraud. Right then, the followers of Buddha stood up and tried to stop the man and remove him, put their hands on him. But Buddha stopped them and said, hey, it's not always necessary to counter aggression with aggression. Then he turned to the man and smiled at him and asked him, tell me, if you buy a gift for someone and that person does not take it, to whom does the gift belong? The man turned and said, surprised, he's like, "Why are you asking me these questions?" He says, "That's a stupid question. It would belong to me, of course, because I bought the gift." Buddha then smiled and asked him again, "Do you receive visitors and friends at your home?" The man, still confused, and answered, "Well, yeah, of course I do." The Buddha replied to him, "Do you not offer them food and drink when they arrive?" Perplexed and angry, the man said, "Yes, we are civilized here." To which the Buddha then replied, "Then if they refuse your food and drink, to whom does it belong? You or them?" And he says, "Why, me, of course." He says, "That is correct. And that is exactly the same with your words and your actions today. If you become angry and you become angry with me, and I do not feel insulted and reject it, that anger falls back to you. If I do not accept your anger, you go and you keep it for yourself. It's not mine. You are then the only one who becomes unhappy, not me. All you have done now is hurt yourself." The man bowed his head, understanding the message, turned and left the camp. Now, there's a lot in there. Some may say, "Oh, well, look, the Buddha really told him, you know what I mean? Got that guy." But that's totally opposite of what he was trying to tell the man. What he was trying to tell the man is that what he brought was only his, and that his yelling and his anger and his conflict was not Buddha's and was not his friends and didn't belong to anybody there, only to him. And that's the same. That's the same. Here it is. The best way to deal with anger is not by recognizing and responding in kind, by not retaliating, but teaching with silence, smiles, and loving kindness, by not reacting, but acting. Some may question why the Buddha may respond this way, but to the enlightened one, all of us are nothing but empty boats. He did not believe in the reality the angry man brought to him at his camp. He saw the truth of the oneness, the truth of no self, because the Buddha could not be harmed by words because there was nothing to harm. What do they teach in Course in Miracles about real and unreal? What's the saying? That which is real.
You go ahead. I
That
can't.
which is real cannot be harmed. And there's nothing in this world but
That's
love. Love is the only real thing, so love cannot be harmed. Right?
And nothing is unreal.
And nothing is unreal.
That's right.
So it's very similar idea of if you're not vested in the moment, if you're present now, and you're not holding all of your past and your experience, and your ego is not the first thing that people are dealing with, and they're dealing with the one. Well, the one cannot be harmed, can it? So how can you harm that which is real with that which is not real? You cannot. Okay. Anger comes from within each one of us, and it is an emotion that can be shared only because we allow it and accept it as our own. The practice of non-self in the Buddhist tradition is a way to ensure proper mindfulness in difficult situations with difficult people. No self, the non-self. That's kind of an idea that Jung and them created of the id and the ego, where they separated it from what Freud thought, right? And gave it another name. Well, that other name is yourself, right? The other thing is the thing that talks to you all the time in your head. That's not real, right? That's your ego.
Who thinks it is?
Right? And one of the greatest things I was also, not to get off of this real quick, but saw yesterday a Wayne Dyer teaching about, he was talking about, he was at this conference, and this lady that had just gone through 25-year a divorce from a man that she loved a lot for 25 years, and they had 4 or 5 kids, and she came up to him after the book signing and asked him, well, I just decided to sign the book. She goes, because, well, what can I do for her? What can I, because she had a moment with him. And she said, well, I need you to tell me one thing, something. And here's something special. And she told him a brief story of what she was going through and how she couldn't find peace. And she'd lost her connection with oneness. And he'd remembered a teaching from Alan Watts. And Alan Watts had said to him at one time, what you need to do is let go of your past history, your dialogue. Let go of that past. Quit carrying your past history forward with you. You need to erase it. You need to forget about it. Like an old hat, take it off and throw it in the garbage. Don't set it aside. Don't go, okay, this is all my pain and my hurt. I'm going to go put it over here. So that one day you can pick it back up. But we're so attached to our meritocracy and our degrees, our experiences, our businesses, our knowledge, all these things that we've done in life. You know what I mean? And sometimes they fail us. They just do. They're not always the thing we thought they were, right? And sometimes life turns and it's time to do your best. But if you keep bringing this with you, how can you ever write yourself a new history? So if you always keep bringing your anger and you don't get rid of it and throw it away and walk away from it, say it's done. I'm not going to be like that with this person anymore or this situation anymore. I'm going to be mindful and present. Then, maybe then you can write a new history for yourself. If you're not constantly judging yourself with that history, So
We're like living in the moment now.
exactly. Because how can you if you're always attached to those experiences? How could we go forward if you're always going backwards in time? What was that old saying? If you stay crucified, if you hang on to the past and you're worried about the future, you stay crucified in the present.
In the present.
So a lot of things that have been said in this building that come to true in this. So anyway, to come back in synopsis, anger comes from within each one of us, and it is an emotion that can be shared only because we allow and accept it. The practice of non-self in the Buddhist tradition is a way to ensure proper mindfulness, of course, meditation, in difficult situations with difficult people. I'm always reminded when I look into this specific teaching of an old children's saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but
Words will never harm me.
sticks and stones may break my bones, but sticks and stones may break my bones.
And words will never harm us. That's what I was thinking of a while ago when you said that.
Right?
That old kid saying, yes.
It's real.
It
Sounds too simplistic, but it's a very deep truth. It is indeed a fault for one to return anger for anger. Not returning anger for anger, one achieves a double victory. He who behaves for the good of both himself and the other person, knowing well the other person's anger, he remains mindful and calm. Being this way, he heals himself and the other person. That is a teaching from the Buddhist Vasati Sutra. So you bring healing by embracing this idea of the empty boat, by realizing now when somebody is coming or something is coming at you, we're always looking for why. I do this incessantly. Why is this happening? Well, sometimes there is no why. Sometimes it's just the wind and the happenstance and the current. And none of us on this journey have any real control over what is happening. And to be attached to that illusion of control is also going to bring us a lot of suffering. So peace is vibing in the moment, staying mindful of the present. And remember that anytime anger comes at you, it's just an empty boat. There's nothing there. Don't react.
Don't react.
Don't react. Smile. If you have to respond in loving
Kindness.
kindness
Compassion.
and compassion.
See, I
It'll
was
change. You
listening.
could change somebody's life. And that's all I got.
Thank you. I appreciate you a bunch.
Fred, you brought up that my walk away was just that the Working Miracles line, and that anger or attack thoughts never leave their source. I think that matches exactly with what you were talking about in your story about the man.
Attack thoughts never
Leave their source.
never leave their source. Attack thoughts never leave their source. That's from the Course in Miracle. So that it stays with them.
That was your story.
Yes, basically. It comes from, it wasn't yours to accept, right? If you don't accept it,
You don't have it.
it's
You don't
theirs,
own it.
not yours.
I'm reading a book right now called The Saint, the Sinner, and the CEO. And it's a journey, a young man's journey. And the one thing that I liked the whole book, I'm down towards the end of it, but what I really like is the CEO tells him that the best way to do any dealings with anybody is to approach it with a win-win situation, not a win-lose. Just because I win doesn't mean you lose. We can both win at any kind of anything, whether it's a confrontation or just a friendship. And I'm really enjoying this book, but it's all of this so follows along with what we're reading in the morning about the power of intention. If you intend for somebody to hurt you, they will. If you intend to give your peace away to somebody else, they'll take it. You're only responsible for your own peace of mind.
That's
And
true.
you know, if you want anger, you'll find it.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes right in within your own self, your own ego.
Well, that's where it mostly comes from, right? You know, your own conflict. I mean, the Brahmin man was upset that one of his family members or somebody that he knew, you know what I mean, had joined the Buddha, you know, so he was going to go in there and set things straight.
Anybody else have anything to say to Fred? If you do online, you need to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted, I think.
There you are.
You know, I really enjoyed your talk today. Thank you so much. It meant a lot to me. And because anger and attachment, yeah, that's also a very good way to be very sick.
Yes, attached to your pain, your injuries.
Because what most people are unaware, it doesn't matter about your diet, things like that. What they found is that almost all the people who had cancer, they had one thing in common, all of them, one thing in common. They could not forgive or forget because they carried that anger with them always. And you know, if that anger is in that boat, it'll sink it.
Amen to that, sister.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Fred. We
You bet.
appreciate your words of wisdom and hope to hear more. Attachment and ignorance are the next ones.
I think those are pretty self-explanatory. Huh?
They are. And now we have a song, Take Me As I Am.
Oh, yeah. Infotainment today.
Yes.
I get used to in church I get used to having papers in front of me in church. It's an old habit of being in choirs, and it's like sometimes I know some of these songs by heart, but
Still like that.
I always put that there, and sometimes it's a bad crutch, to be honest with you. Sometimes it's helpful, especially when you haven't played something in a while. So this is Tedeschi Truck's song. Take me as I am. just like you. We're made from the same land, born of the same land. Take me as I am. I haven't said a word. Dreams I have are real, no matter how absurd. Life is just a wish some of us hold dear, tethered by a thread, held back by our fears. No matter where you're from, all that you can do is in love, and that's enough. Take me as I am. Feel you in my heart. Feel the same space, no matter how far. Take me as I am, for I am just like you. You're a part of me, I'm a part of you. Oh, why can't we share this world? There is only room for those who give love. Meet me with a smile, I will be your friend. Care for you till the end. Take me as I am just like you. You're a part of me, and I'm a part of you. You're a part of me, yeah, and I'm a part of you.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Amen.
Amen to that. Thank you, Fred.
You're welcome.
I have to go over here for just a moment. As we do our celebration of abundance. Bill, thank you. You're a blessing to me. Okay, please follow along with me if you have this. If not, you have to do it by memory. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Through infinity, I am prosperous. We don't have any children today. Once again, they are out of town. I'm not sure about this. Seems like they're always out of town for some reason or another, but that's okay. It is what it is, and they will be back next week. And they have several things planned for the fall and into the holidays and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring to us. I look forward to having them back because they are such a pleasure to hear their laughter and their voices, their happy voices. And if you will give me your attention now, Bill Clark is going to give us a closing reading and maybe sort of a prayer.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well this end of the September as we move into fall, which is clearly my favorite time of the year. Today's topic is ingredients for happiness. Caring about others, running the risk of feeling, and leaving an impact on people bring happiness. Quote from Rabbi Harold Kushner. We all have memories of happy moments. Those moments may have involved some aspect of vulnerability too. A time when we shared deep conversation with a loved one, and they received it well. The day we started a project that was too big for us and dear friends arrived to help out. Or all the adventures, outdoor adventures with childhood pals. Those were happy times. The recipe for happiness is fairly simple. Relationship, honesty, and a dash of healthy risk. When things turn stagnant, we should find one small way to bring back those ingredients into our life. The walkaway is, my own happiness is directly tied to my willingness to take risk in relationships, to reach out and interact with others in the world around me. I believe the saying is we make our own happiness.
That's right.
And life moves on. God bless and have a good week.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
And if you will all join me, we will sing our way out of here. I don't know what to do with this thing. Well, look at Shay's pretty face. Yeah. Sing us out of here, Fred.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave us together. Weave us together in unity and yes.
There is peace on earth,
And yes, it begins with me.
Yes,
There is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. So let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Amen to that.
Amen. Namaste.
Amen. Namaste to all.
Namaste.
Blessing to a
God bless
good
till we
week.
meet again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fred, for all your goodies. The
you.
singing, the message, and the enthusiasm and energy.
My pleasure. My pleasure.